Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kwentong GK. I'm your host, Donna Reyes. And tonight, believe it or not, guys, it's our 64th episode. We started back in 2020 during the pandemic. And it's also our last episode for Kwentong GK. But we are not leaving you high and dry. We're not going to leave you hanging. And tonight's episode is actually dedicated to our GK Tambayan team, who you will be meeting in the next few minutes. Ito na. Naku, sana alam kong ibalik yung inyong mga ang inyong mga video. And I hope I can take off my remove spotlight. Ayan. So please welcome our GK USA Executive Director, Miss Carol Tulud. Ayan. On cue. Nawala uli. Okay, di tayo on your video now. Ayan.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, nasa kotse pa si Tita Carol. I think she's coming from an appointment or something. Welcome to Kwentong GK, Tita. And then, of course, we have our Bayan Anihan's sales and marketing, Mia Navarro. I hope I got that title right. Sales and marketing.
You got it right. Hello po. Magandang umaga sa Pilipinas.
Umaga sa Pilipinas. And then, well, Tita Carol and Mia, you've met in our previous episodes. And we will, hear some updates from them in the next few minutes. But before that, let me introduce Kusina ng Kalinga Deputy Program Head, Chrissy Saplalan. Ayun, bong.
Hello.
Chris.
Good morning. Hey, good morning from the Philippines and good evening to all of you.
And Chris has always been involved with Kwentong GK since the beginning and working behind the scenes. But now you see the face behind the name. All right. And then last but certainly not the least, a freelance reporter, but now working with GK USA also. Please welcome Caleb Galaraga.
Hello.
Greetings from
Hello,
Queen.
Caleb.
Magandang gabi sa ating lahat at sa mga pamilya at kaibigan natin sa Pilipinas. Magandang umaga po. Ayan. So, baka may mga nasa sa tanks na agad with Kwentong GK. Inunti-unti naman natin, di ba? So, just a little bit backgrounder, how Kwentong GK started. And I know Chrissy knows this, Tita Carol maybe a little bit. Not sure about Mia or Caleb, and maybe some of our, viewers here or people who are joining us in this Facebook Live. We started Kwentong GK during the pandemic. Actually, it was really meant to connect lang with area directors, with GK area directors. And then we decided that during the pandemic, everyone was really trying to connect, with each other, but we couldn't go out. We couldn't, see each other face to face. We couldn't do any in-person meeting. So we said, why limit to just the area directors when we can actually reach out to, beyond our bedrooms or home offices or what have you, right? To anyone and everyone who's, wanting to listen to stories of hope, right? Both here and in the Philippines. And that's how Kwentong GK started. And maloloka kayo, back in the day, we did Kwentong GK every single week, right, Chrissy? And we were also still trying to figure out how to do a live thing like this. I know, Zoom has been around for a while. But we did really, like, there were times that we would hang, right? There was a time na nawala ako sa parang broadcasting, right?
Yeah.
So nawala ako sa Zoom. And Lovely just had to, by the way, thanks Lovely for also supporting the show every single week behind the scenes also. But Lovely had messaged me and said, nawawala naman, Miss Donna, ano gagawin ni Sir Tony? Tony Olaes was our guest at that time. Yeah. And of course, it's Tony O. He can wing it, right? Right? Caleb knows Tony O very well. So now, and then last year we did it once a month lang. And then now we are transitioning to GK Tambayan, which is what Kwentong GK was, that was the initial intention of it, was to gather mga GK volunteers talaga, those who are wanting to do something in their respective areas, right? And work with us. And so that is why Tita Carol and Mia and Caleb and Chrissy started Kwentong GK a few months back already, right? I don't know how many months na. Ilang months na ba Tita Carol ang GK Tambayan?
I think we started in September. If I, it is the same story as the as your Kwentong GK. It was meant to be for the area directors, and then it evolved to including the core members, and then now everyone is welcome to just join us if they want to know what's going on about GK here and in the Philippines. So it had become, I guess, an international chat group. So thank you to the three of my special people that are present that had helped me to really facilitate it, even sometimes in my absence. Thank you, Mia, Chrissy, and Caleb.
Alright, so
You're
ilan yung mga nagpa-participate na ngayon sa Kwentong GK who are attending? Kwentong GK, I'm sorry, GK Tambayan. How many who are participating right now? Mia siguro. Ayan.
Yeah, actually, it's a mix of different people, which is, I think, is beautiful. Kasi we have people, like what Tita Carol mentioned, meron tayong mga area directors. We have the new and yung mga long-time area directors na. But I think what I also like about the Tambayan is yung addition din ng mga sharers natin. These are people from the Philippines, mostly mga from different programs of Gawad Kalinga. We invited Marlin Importante from GK Sipag. We invited JP Jose and Norhaya Di Makiling Seed, and we also invited the GK workers who are on ground. Ito yung mga on-ground team natin. Sina Kuya Christian, sina Kuya Andy, sina Nicole. So these are people who are siguro nababanggit lang yung pangalan, and then we finally put a face to them, and they were able to tell their stories. And meron din tayong mga non-Filipinos. So we invited also Matt Koshman, and I think nag-guest din sa'yo si Mr. Matt Koshman, and who was able to share kung ano yung mga naging experience niya and ano pa yung pwede niyang maitulong, whatever he can share with us to support the program of Gawad Kalinga. And I think, yeah, yun yung mix in a nutshell ng mga taong nasa Tambayan. Kaya ang saya ng kwentuhan. Bitin nga pag one hour, lalo na pag mahaba ang mga questions, di ba, Chrissy?
Oh yeah, sure. Kasi syempre mas maraming, exchange, right? Yung format ng Kwentong GK talaga is, there's a host and then you have a guest. So it's really, usually, ito na yung pinakamarami natin na guests on episode, diba? So usually one or two people, most of the time, isa nga lang, diba? So I can imagine how exciting and dynamic it is to just hear from, different, points of view, and also people from here and the Philippines, like you said, Mia. So Chrissy, ano yung well, because you've been involved with Kwentong GK also, even though, behind the scenes from the beginning, how do you see this, I guess, sort of evolved, I guess, from Kwentong GK to now Tambayan? How do you, how are they different? How are they the same? What should people expect from it?
Well, with the sa Kwentong GK kasi, it's like you feature one or two guests. Maximum na yata natin two. Or we had that yun. And then they tell about their hope stories, yung experience nila, ganyan. With Tambayan naman, it's more interactive. It's like group of people, like, same heart-minded, say heart people na sige magkwentuhan tayo about our experiences. Like there was a time that a lot of the group of GK USA advocates went to the Philippines. Was in February. They had their immersion. So after their immersion, after they trip, they were telling their stories, sharing pictures, videos, and everything. And then it was also an opportunity then to talk about the different events that we have. Events, participate para in advance din na parang each of the ADs can like talk together. Uy, baka may kakilala ka, invite mo yung from that area. So it's more interactive and it's medyo mas casual ng we are casual here, right? But mas casual pa siya na talagang kwentuhan talaga siya. Parang alam mo yun, parang barkada, hangout, ganyan.
Or hangout.
So, ganun siya talaga. It's a hangout.
Right. Tambayan is the perfect, name for it. Kaya nga, you're right. It hangout talaga, di ba? And hindi, siguro also, it's probably more intimate, right? Because like you said, this is casual also kwentong GK, and so is Tambayan. Kaya lang, parang maski alam mo na, like casual tayo, but you know that there are people, that this is actually broadcast, to the public. Diba? So, so not that we have any secrets or anything like that, but there's just something about it, knowing that, okay, that people will, this is going to be published. It's actually going live right now publicly, and then it's going to be there for a while. I don't know if this live thing lasts like more than 30 days. I think it does. Kasi nakita ko pa yung mga videos natin from, from a long time ago. I thought it, for some reason, I'm thinking it only lasts like 30 days, but I guess that's not true.
I think lifetime yun. Plus you
Lifetime.
have your YouTube pa eh, diba? So it's there.
Knowing that it's live, right? But okay, so Caleb is the only person I have not met in person, because Mia I met in Las Vegas when we have a GK, conference. Actually, no, si Chrissy pala di ko pa rin na-meet in person. Kaya parang I feel like I've known you for a long time because, we've been working together for, more than 2 years, going on 3 years now. So anyway, so Caleb, ayan. So have you been involved with GK Tambayan from the beginning, or are you the new kid on the block? What's going on?
Definitely the new kid on the block, because my first GK Tambayan was last Sunday. So it was a very, very enriching experience. So it was Nor, and I almost said his nickname, pero si JP, kasi nalalaman ko yung nickname niya doon, who were actually there. And it was just amazing for us to see in action what they're doing. And Mia actually suggested that we actually add Nor on Facebook. So I did add her because she's really posting about what she's doing and everything. And I think yesterday, or not that I'm stalking her, but yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw that they just harvested cabbage or lettuce. Yeah, and they were selling it. They were so organic. So you can just see how the programs of GK are in action on the ground. So it was a very, very enriching experience. And at the same time, I would describe Tambayan as it's like a family chat, a friends catching up without you needing to feel out of place. Okay, it's like, you're being included there. So during that session, I also learned that Kuya Philip Ortiz is our newest area director, and actually just spoke to him earlier. And it was I really had a great time. And even though I'm a new kid on the block, I do feel like I belong.
Nice. I love that. So you don't have any background though on God Kalinga before this, did you? Or you don't? Okay. And I know you worked with the Filipino school, with Tony O and his team over there, like really amazing group of people. So what do you see is the difference or I guess similarities with what we're doing here in Gawad Kalinga versus, the Filipino school? How do they connect?
Oh no, it's a lot of alignment between the Filipino school and Gawad Kalinga. And actually, like you said, you call him Kuya Tony, we call him Tony, Tito Tony, Kuya Tony, Tony Olaya. It was really Gawad Kalinga that somehow instigated that passion for nation building for him. So he will always tell this story. And I would always nudge, our good friend, Glenda Henyo, who was also with GK before. I would tell, Glenda, wala siyang script? Because, as a writer, I would always want to be prepared. You have a script. But every time he will tell his story, it's the exact same elements, the exact time, Sabi ko, siguro, feeling ko pinractice niya to. Pero it's really from the heart. And he would say that, when he spent time in a particular GK village, the following day, that's when he will always say this. And I'm sure you've heard it at Tita Carol and Ate Donna, that's when he became Filipino. And that's why he had this idea of pilgrimage that actually Kuya Philip, I was just talking to him earlier, that he wants to participate in, because he wants to bring in this individuals who identify as Filipinos, never been to the Philippines, but their parents, one or both of their parents are Filipinos. Some of them don't even speak one of the Philippine languages. But that's the idea, that the motherland is also your home. So there's a lot of this idea of nation building, this idea of bayanihan, of to care and to share. That's very much part of what we did at the what I did at the Filipino school, or what I learned from the Filipino school, similar to what we're doing now here at GK.
Nice, nice. So si TO lang siya sa akin kasi hindi kami nagkakalayo ng
Ayun,
iba.
bagong term.
TO or Tony O. But we call him TO because there are, a few Tonys in the GK, movement, right? We have Tony Del Rosario. We have, of course, the Tony Meloto, right? We have many Tonys, and we can't, we can have enough Tonys, right? And I agree with you. He does speak from the heart. It's not, I think when you immerse yourself in the work of GK, you don't really, you don't really need a lot of programming or anything like that. You just, you parang, mawawalan talaga ako ng words. But like I'm trying to think of, you don't need to have any script or any program or anything like that. You do, you do speak from the heart without even knowing that you're doing, right? Actually, si Tony yata yung unang-unang umiyak dito sa kwentong GK.
Yeah.
Not that you have to try to pour your heart out. I'm, like everyone who has graced this show, who has blessed us with, with their stories, really spoke from the heart. It's just that I think, I was caught off guard with Tony as, considering pa that, we had all these technical problems during that time. And he just really spoke from the heart, and he, he captured the audience talaga. So, Tita, babalik ako sa'yo. I know it's been a lifelong dream for us because Tita Carol and I, and Tita Charlie, and a bunch of other people started with Gawad Kalina about 20 years ago. And then it has always been, at that time, I was the youngest. So that's how long it's been. I was 1 and Ravi was 34, I think, at that time. So we were newly married when we started with Gawad Kalina. And everyone were in what Tito Tony Meloto called the pre-departure age. Pre-departure age daw, yung mga 50s, So now Ravi and I are in our 50s also. We are now in our own pre-departure age. But I remember back in the day, Tita Carol and Tita Charlie and all of them were already dreaming of, handing or passing the baton, so to speak, or, finding younger people, the next generation of hope bearers, right, to continue on the work, right? Of course, we're going to be here for as long as we live, for as long as we can be, we can participate. But Tita, what are your thoughts about that now that we have, the next generation of hope bearers leading?
Yeah. Well, Tambayan is just one sign that God is with us with this work. Just like what you said a few minutes ago, when you in GK, you don't really have to plan. Somebody else plan it for you, and somebody else make it happen for you, and that's the one that is above us. So with Tambayan, it was just like a plain conversation with Francis de los Reyes one night, and I was telling him about what we can do and take advantage of modern technology as far as inspiring each other, things like that. And then he said, "Oh, Ate, maybe we'll call it Tambayan." So I said, "Okay, Tambayan, that's good, and then it just, no preparation, nothing, and it just happened. Then I met Mia in Las Vegas during the training, and of course I already have Crazy behind me with all the those ideas because she was part of Kwentong GK also. And Mia, she just take it on. uh and I said, and every week there's good ideas that her and Chrissy were working on, and it just happened. And just like you said, in GK, everything will just happen naturally, and it is happening.
Yeah.
So
But Tito, so now the Tambayan is not it's not open to the public. How do people become a part of it? With Kwento GK, they can just, tune in, or they get notification from the GK USA Facebook page that we are live, and then they can
yeah.
watch, right? But it is a program, right? It's a kind of a
Yes, and if you remember the weekend that the five of us were talking, you with me personally at my house, and the three on Zoom, I think there was that idea that our membership drive can grow much faster through Tambayan. And after that meeting, I saw some communications between Mia and Chrissy. They were already doing forms. They were already planning on how people can get in, and we were talking about what possible benefits can a member have, things like that. So I guess the two of them will be the good people that might let you know about the vision on
Mhm.
how Tambayan can, um, as we move forward, can become.
All right. So
Well,
yeah.
it started out, Tambayan started out as really like word of mouth lang. We started with inviting, standing with the Zoom. It's via Zoom. So we spread it through telling the ADs and then the area directors of GKUSA. And then we asked them to invite their core members or the people that they want to immerse or people that they want to get introduced into the GK, GK family and get to know the culture and how it feels like to be with other people. And aside from that, so just and then there were some suggestions. Oh, why don't you send out email that's direct to their calendar so that there's a reminder. So it started.
Yeah.
So we did up with there, and then recently because we know that it's been growing, so there is a sign up sheet so that they can be part of the mailing list. Because what we do is we send out emails, the link of the GK Tambayan. So that's how, so for us to grow it, really it's more about, inviting everybody else, the people that want to help, want to make a difference, but they just don't know how to do it. Then maybe we can share, some ideas with them. Maybe by hanging out with us, tambayan tayo. Tambay lang tayo, we get a bit of, inspiration to do
Nice,
it.
nice. So do you send out the link or the announcement to GKUSA's database of emails? Is it
Um,
like
it's by sign up. Right now it's sign up because there are a lot. Our database is about 4,000, but
yes.
those are others who are, some of them might not be interested in joining us every week. So it's really by sign up. It's really if they want to join the sign up. It's I asked Lovely to put it in the comment. So
Oh,
yeah, they can just
yeah,
sign up. So I
yeah.
sent it to her the link.
Oh, you did.
It's
Okay.
via Salsa, so they can just sign up, and then we get their email address through that sign up. And then once we have, because we do Tambayan other
Other
every
week. There are other
every other
Sundays.
Every other
Sunday,
week. Yeah, so
every
twice a
other week.
month.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so twice a
It
month
was
siya.
every
So
week
we
also,
send out like
every week before. Wasn't it every week in the beginning?
um
So no, it's always been every other.
No,
No,
before
at the
every week.
beginning it was every Sunday.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, okay, so now it's every other. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, so I was just wondering about that because it might, and then, not to, of course, it's, whatever works for you guys, but it might not be a bad idea to also send it to, to the email, like our email blast, like our newsletter, because I just met a lady today and, she's a client of mine and she said, and then I mentioned, of course, every time I get a chance of meeting people, etc. I do mention that, that I'm an advocate for the poor. I'm with the GKUSA, Gawad Kalinga. And she said, oh, I really want to be part of that. She said her husband passed away July of last year. She's actually a physician. She's a pediatrician. And she said that she retired, she stopped practicing when her husband got sick. But now that he had passed away, she's actually looking for something meaningful, something, some kind of purpose for her life. So long story short, what I'm trying to say is we don't know who will be interested, right? And until we send it like that, So even though it will not be live and public like this, they might want to sign up if they know, it's just it's a private, Zoom call, but it's available to anyone and everyone.
Yes, and they can also visit the website of GKUSA. So that's www.gkusa.com. If I'm, is that
.org.
correct? .org, sorry. So that's www.gkusa.org. And then you can see a part there that says sign up here. So when you actually click on that, you'll get newsletters, and in that email, there's also a sign up form automatically, because that's what I also did. You automatically get an email that that actually lets you in or invites you, and can even forward it to your friends para dumami tayo ng dumami. The more, the merrier.
Yes, the more the merrier.
The merrier.
Okay, paki post din yung yung gk-usa.org website and to encourage people to join Tambayan, to sign up for Tambayan. All right, so Caleb, babalik ako sa iyo kasi I know you're a freelance reporter, writer, right? So I know you've only attended the GK Tambayan once. But you said that you've already heard like really inspiring stories. How does that, how do you share that story, I guess, by way of, of writing something? What do you think about it as, Tambayan being maybe a source of your material or stories for you to share, once you start writing?
Yeah, speaking of sources, Ate Donna, thank you very much for really creating Kwentong GK. And I was so excited to know that you have basically an equivalent of like 9 seasons or 8 seasons of Kwentong GK, because that's really a trove of things that I can mine and dig in the next couple of months, maybe even years, because there's just so much material there. And you actually mentioned, we spoke last week about Ryan Carabiab, Tony O, and Mylene Supan, and a lot of this really incredible interviews that you've had that I will definitely look back at it, and we'll be featuring it from the archives. And one way for me, if as someone who will be writing about this kinds of things or about GK in the future, is to really listen to the stories and to listen to the background of those people sharing it, like Nor, like JP. A very interesting story in that particular Tambayan is Nor and JP. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, baka if I'm missing any of the details. Nor is a seed campus facilitator or a director.
Director.
Yeah, and
Director.
JP has the same role, right? Has the same job.
Yeah.
But
In different locations.
Nor actually trained JP. So it was actually he was actually a Nor student. So there's that kind of like passing on that that mantle and that passion. And another story, if I may just share very quickly, is with Kuya Philip Ortiz. I just spoke to him earlier. I was interviewing him because he's our newest area director. And if I'm not mistaken, Tita for DMV, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, not Department of Motor Vehicles. But he's our newest area director. And then I asked him earlier, like, how did you get into this? And he mentioned about his late mentor, Kuya Ben, who went to be with the creator and on March 4, and how he actually drove when he 13 years ago. He created a program like an event in Florida, and Kuya Ben, that's his mentor, a person whom he really looks up to, drove from DC to Florida to take part in that event. So it's digging is for me, the basic journalistic skills is to dig into the story, to probe into what they're actually saying, because I feel that actually no, not I feel, I know there's a lot of stories there that will just really inspire people. So yeah.
And we
Yeah.
actually really hope that with the inspiration, we act on it. Kasi it's we can never have enough help. There's a lot of people who needs help, and with these stories, I hope yun nga ma-inspire and an inspiration to act on it. So yeah, the more that we have people who are actors, the more that we'll have success stories like JP. Kasi if hindi siya nakapasok sa Seed Campus, if hindi rin siya naging beneficiary of the GK houses, then I think hindi din ganun kaayos yung buhay niya. So look at him now. So I'm really proud of who he is right now. Among the many others that you'll meet, of the stories that you'll actually hear when you get to be part of Gawad Kalinga po.
Yeah, I remember JP guesting here on Quantum GK.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the guests naman talaga are inspiring, and their stories are inspiring. But JP is one of those I really remember na very talaga remarkable yung kanyang story, and he's very articulate too, right? I mean,
Yes.
so it's one thing to have a great story to tell, but to tell it well like that, I mean, iba pang level yun, right? And one thing that I think that's really good about Tambayan is that because it's interactive, when you have excuse me, when you have special guests like JP or Noor, and I'm pretty sure you'll have many more special.
Kimberly Evalyar, right? She
Yeah,
was
Kim also was here on Quantum GK.
Mm.
The difference is that with Quantum GK, people can only participate via the chat, di ba? That they can post comments, etc. And sometimes you do get questions, but it's parang mas masaya, di ba? With the Tambayan, you can really, you can have conversations talaga na real conversations, and mas dynamic siya, and people can really ask questions, with comments, ng live, ng interactive talaga. So I'm really excited about that. So, well, I'm glad also, Caleb, that you mentioned Ben. Actually, today, this memory popped up on my wall that it's about a year ago when Ben guested here on Kwentong GK. And, he talked about his journey with Gawad Karina. And even though he was going through, major health, issues at that time, he continued to be a part of, of Gawad Karina, with the best way he can, with the physical limitations he had. In fact, I even saw him, I think, Tita, sa Tampa, when we had our GK conference there in 2019, no? And, and then, of course, as many of you know, had passed on a month and a half ago. And so our condolences and prayers go out to Jenny and his entire family. Ben is family to us. And, while we, mourn his loss, our loss of him, we celebrate his life and the many contributions that he had given to Gawad Kalinga and to change the lives of the poor and give back to our country. So I just wanted to take that moment for that. So any other things to talk about, anything to look forward to for Tambayan? Anyone can just hop on.
I think it's an opportunity for them to get to know more about GK, GK, what we do, all the different programs also of GK, because it's important that, and also it's an invitation for them to go and immerse and visit the Philippines, because nothing beats the experience. So coming from a person who's always on ground, iba kasi yung stories. That's the stories of the people who have done the work of really changing their lives, going into that journey. it's a difficult thing, but when you have the community of, your immediate community, your what we call kapitbahayans, and also the community of like GK USA, who are helping and supporting and caring, it's a different story. I'm very privileged to see both sides and to connect them together and see, how much the people, the Filipino Americans and our friends also who are not who are also Americans, but have the heart of Filipinos, work so hard to help. Tapos you get to see how it changes the lives of the people in the Philippines, the poorest of the poor, the dati, they live in places that are sobrang, it puts them in arm's length of danger or something. And then now they move into a community that's safe. And then now they get to, send their children to be a scholar in seed. And then afterwards, alam mo, like me, I work with K&K, with Kusina ng Kalinga. So some of the seed graduates are actually part of our team. So it's a circle of give. It's I got through gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Parang ganun siya eh. So when you help, it just helps everything. And during the pandemic, the people in our community, they were better off in a way that they get to do yung community pantry.
Yeah.
They're helping other communities outside of their community. So parang there's so much stories to tell. And we hope that, you guys can join us and be part of that, because it's the hope that's spreading. It's really building hope. And we hope, more. And then, syempre, marami pa rin talagang nangangailangan ng tulong. So, we hope that everybody will help find a way to make a difference.
The people we help, are now helping other people, people pay it forward. And then when you talk about changing lives, we always talk about how we change the lives of the poor, of those who are in need, diba? But in the process, isn't it our own lives that change? Diba? Yung impact talaga sa atin mismo, diba? You'll never be the same, once you see, yung sabi nga nung kanta ni Gary Granada, pag daw nahawakan mo, naamoy mo, diba? You guys know that song? Bahay? That song na Bahay. I have to look it up on
Baka pwede mong kantahin. Kidding.
Golden Days. No, it's a very poignant song. You guys have to listen to it. In fact, I think we should use it in one of our events, Tita Cara. Maybe the GK Hope Ball.
Yes, which is going to happen on September 23. Thank you for reminding. So we're going to have the GK Texas Hope Ball. It will be on September 23. And then the venue is, if I'm not mistaken, it's in Hilton Hotel.
Yeah, Double Tree Hotel. And also, don't forget that there is also a conference for GK USA for September 22nd, and then the 23rd before the gala, and then half a day on Sunday for the board and the area directors.
There. Thank you.
Anyway, I want to add on the Tambayan is a place that each and every volunteer can inspire each other on their love for the poor and for the work that they do to help the programs in the Philippines, like the fundraisers that each and every area is doing. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tambayan was thought of, so that we can inspire each other on a day-to-day basis, or on an event, every event that's happening, that it can be shared, and hoping that it will be duplicated in their areas. Yeah.
Yes. Like last time. Yeah, ang ganda.
Sikat.
No, I said you wanted to add something. Mia.
Yes. Yeah, like last time nag-update si Allison from GK Next Gen. So for those who
Mhm.
are unfamiliar with the different areas, or when we actually say area directors, kasi baka GK USA language to eh, baka nagugulat pa sila. So we have like leaders per area. Ang dami, we have people from New York. So actually Caleb is in New York right now. We have people from Boston, DC, Tampa, Chicago, Ate Donna, Oklahoma, Texas, Nevada, Colorado, California, goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
But we also have a group of young ones, mga
Next
youth.
gen.
So they are the GK Next Gen. And nakakatuwa sila kasi ang busy. Parang ako nung edad na yan, parang I think, oh my gosh, but maybe my mom is listening. But I was balancing studies and also going out. So, but imagine, they are able to come up with a youth summit, and then the week after, merong pageant. And ang successful, these young ones were able to raise, if my numbers are right, at
3,000.
least $3,000. So how much is that sa Philippine peso? 100, tama ba?
50,000. Yeah.
150,000
150.
pesos. Around that. And then, so these are young people who are helping a community already, helping people already. Parang you don't have to be at this certain age. Kasi minsan iniisip natin, oh, kailangan, ano na ako, retired na ako, or be this super rich to be able to help. I have to be, need ako dapat busy, tsaka lang. Pag may time na lang ako, tsaka ako makakatulong. But they actually make time for it. And ayun, ang ganda. Kaya tuwang-tuwa din kasi pag kinukwento rin natin sa mga beneficiaries na, oh, these are the people na tumulong. Ay, ang bata pa pala nila ate. So parang, yeah. So yun. So these are also in addition to what I mentioned earlier, ito rin yung mga kasama sa Tambayan. So iba-ibang age, iba-ibang area. So minsan nga, iba-iba rin yung language. So although we actually really try to speak in English, but
Yeah.
kasi nga ang dami talaga din na dumadami na yung mga hindi na nagsasalita ng Tagalog. So but yeah, that's why we are inviting more and more people. But you'll get to know these connections. You're actually building beautiful connections to help people po.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best time to get involved. The young, college actually, I think is the best time. College students will be wala si Carol. Ayun. Yeah, I think that's the best time because wala pang masyadong responsibilities, right? And I mean, yeah, there's school and everything, but they also have a ton of energy. I remember like right now I'm 50 years old. Like akala ko kaya ko pa the things that I did like 20 years ago. In my head and in my heart, I can do it. And then like you're going full throttle and di pala kaya physically. Diba? So then I start getting, having health issues, etc. But when you're young, there's so much you can do, So you're never too young to help, right?
Yes.
And we're never too old to follow.
Too old. Exactly.
We're never too
I mean,
old
you
to
cannot
follow.
discredit din how much even the more mature ones are, doing a lot of work also. It's, sabi nga nila, help where you can from where you are at whatever capacity that you can do. So, kahit na matanda na, I mean, like, medyo older ka, mature ka na, marami pa ring
That
natutulong.
is true.
I mean,
But also,
diba?
what I mean, what I'm also trying to say is that there's a lot of ideas that can come from from the younger generation, right?
Yep.
And I'm not saying that wala na kami pwede contribute ni Tita Caro. We can contribute pa rin. I'm just saying
Ang
that
dami nyo kaya nakakontribute. Ano ka ba? Ang dami nyo natutulong kaya.
No, what I'm trying to say, Lang, is that there's a lot of ideas and that can be generated from the next generation of hope bearers that, those people who have been here for a long time, can also benefit from because baka yung mga nag-work sa amin 20 years ago may not be as effective anymore. So we're always, looking for, something that's more relevant, right? More impactful. And like I said, we're never too old to learn, right? So we invite, fresh ideas, and then maybe these fresh ideas don't necessarily come from the next generation, na younger. But when I say next generation, also is maybe the next generation na of hope bearers who are maybe joining us for the first time. They might bring in some new perspective na with us being so immersed now with the work of Gawad Kalina, right? That maybe, gaya ni Caleb's coming from TFS technically, right? So maybe, that's one example of him bringing in some ideas that maybe he also learned from his group sa TFS na mga Phil-Ams then, right? Like you said, I think Mia said, that, some of yung group the group of people that we interact with now are halo-halo na talaga. This is what I was trying to tell Caleb also is that, and I always say this, I know baka nagdudugo na yung tenga ng iba. I always say this, the Filipino culture is different from the Filipino-American culture. It's also different from the Americans born with Filipino blood. Different culture, right? But it also becomes even more exciting. There's one thing though that binds us all together is that Filipino-ness in all of us, diba? So, but yes, so that's, go ahead, Kayla, you want to say
If I may just add something, speaking of the college students. So I just remembered Philip Ortiz, who's actually as I was mentioned earlier, who's our newest area director, and he's a professional now in Washington, D.C., met our late Kuya Ben when he was in junior, when he was a college junior. That's when he became active. And you see, 10 years after, 10 years after, 13 years after, he's now one of our area director. Literally, Kuya Ben passed on the mantle to him and he's carrying that torch, that
I
legacy.
love it. That is so amazing. Yeah, so yan na yung legacy ni Ben by sharing the GK story with Philip. You know what? It's funny. When I see Philip Ortiz's name, I thought he's like an older gentleman. Like, kasi inisip ko Tito Philip Ponsalan, Tita Carol. So there's Tito Philip Ponsalan. Philip Ortiz is, I guess, a young
Caleb was talking about that a year, when Philip was just starting and he did an immersion. He actually was with me then. That's why we're going full circle. When Charlie was talking about him and said maybe we should make Philip Ortiz area director of Washington, D.C. And I said, Philip Ortiz, and I said, I was with him maybe 10, 12 years ago during the first batches of my immersion. He actually stayed with us for, I think, a week. So he must be 10, 12 years younger then. And now he's the area director. So
and that's
we're getting old.
And that's not an easy task to be an area director, not to scare the area directors out there, but that's just to say we appreciate your work, right? We appreciate you taking the lead in your respective areas and your contribution to the work for the poor. Let me pause. I'm going to ask you all for your last final thoughts for this evening. But before that, pero bago yan, parang may commercial tayo, wala naman tayong sponsor. But let me read lang a couple of comments from our chat from Tito June Rafinyan, Dr. Rafinyan. He says, congratulations to all. Tito June is watching from Tampa. Hi, Tito June. Hello.
Hi, Tito June.
And then also from Old Kawayan SMM Tap. Watching.
Oh, that's Sister Helen. Sister Helen,
hello. Thank you for joining us. And then also again from Tito June Rafinyan, get next gen in UCF and USF. I thought that's where Allison is,
Allison.
Right?
Yes.
That's what Allison.
Yeah, so they are very much involved already, Tito June. He says they are inspiring and very interested. We agree. And that's what Mia was sharing just a couple minutes ago, that Allison and her team has been working very hard and quite busy in promoting and spreading the word about Gawad Kalina. Yeah. So maybe take a couple of minutes. Any final thoughts? And let's start with Caleb. Ikaw yung new kid from the block. on the blog.
I think number one is please keep in touch. Not with me, but with Kalinga. So, sign up to the Tambayan, and also if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. So join me as I watch the previous Kwentong GK, because that's really one way for us to really immerse into the work that we're doing here. And there's a lot of resources. The website has a lot of stories. The Hope stories, I've also been reading them. So for us to really somehow imbibe what we're doing, and I think I'm talking to myself here, is by exposing ourselves to the information of what's happening on ground and also in the lives of those in GK USA. So yeah, so keep in touch and please subscribe, whatever, do your thing.
That's good. That's good. Yes, keep in touch. Chrissy.
Well, I just like to invite everybody, who have who wants to make a difference to join, whether you're an individual or even companies, because we do have companies like just recently, actually yesterday, people from Starbucks, because we do have a grant from them, Starbucks Foundation. They went to our Cebu kitchen and really they did that for 2 days. So yung ano ba, so it's good then. And for starters, tambay with us in GK USA Tambayan, and then get to know everybody, people, and all the work that we do, and be a champion, because with the work with the poorest of the poor, maiba-iba kasing faces yung poverty. So you can do with helping children, feed through our nutrition, yung food security, ganyan. Pwede rin kasi with sports like sipag. There are so many different. There's also health. And then pwede kang maging advocate to any of those, whichever is which is closest to your heart. But for you to get to know that, check the website. Go there. We also have of course, the Facebook page, and also sa Instagram, meron din for the medyo younger people. Instagram yan eh. Yon. So join us with, we do talk, share with us your ideas every other Sunday. Yon. And invite you guys also to come to the Philippines.
Right.
And,
Philippine ambassadress. Mia, I'm going to actually ask a specific question for you for our final, kasi you mentioned earlier kanina na, we need help, right? We lagi tayong nangangailangan ng tulong, like warm bodies, people who are willing to roll up their sleeves. So maybe talk about like what kind of help are we looking for? Because there may be some people who, there's some people who might just enjoy hanging out, listening to stories, tumambay with us, right? But maybe some people are really looking for, like, what can I do? What can I do, and how can I help? So maybe some ideas.
Yes, also echoing Ate Chrissy, kung ano yung mga phases of poverty. So one of the phases of poverty is lack of education. So if that's actually one of your passion, you can support SEED Philippines, that's School for Experiential Entrepreneurial Development. So the SEED is a free campus, free, walang tuition fee, their uniform and their food and their lodging are all free, and this is free for the youth na mahirap pero ayaw manatiling mahirap. Gusto na nilang mabago ang buhay nila, and hindi lang buhay nila, gusto na nilang tumulong. So that's actually the beautiful part of SEED. So if you're passionate in education, go support SEED Philippines. They also have a Facebook page. If you're into sports, there's GK Sipag. So they actually empower the youth through sports, and you can also contact them through their Facebook page. Right now, kaka-message nga lang ni Bing Importante, who heads this program, they need 10,000 pesos weekly allowance to train the female soccer players. So if you're interested in sports and gusto nyo tumulong, go contact GK Sipag. If you're into feeding, if you want to eliminate hunger, there's Kusina ng Kalinga. They also have a Facebook page, and you're able to feed a community. It started out with kids, pero a community can be fed. Imagine if hindi na magugutom, makakapasok na yan eh. Kasi minsan that also stops them from going to school kapag gutom, di ba? O iniisip pa, pabaon pa. And you know, it's nourishment for the brain, for the soul. So anyway, so it really depends on what you're passionate about. If you want to help families, you can actually build villages. So if we have viewers here who are members of corporations or individuals, if you have that drive to actually provide homes for the homeless, you can visit the Gawad Kalinga Facebook page. Makikita nyo po ang mga stories doon ng mga nabuo na natin mga communities. And hindi lang sila nabigyan ng bahay, we have livelihood programs for them. If you want to have the farmers, ang part of Bayan Anihan, if you want to help the lives of farmers, if we have listeners here who need fresh supplies, we have an abundance of ube, patatas, kamote, adlay. And if you share the same passion for fair trade practices, so Bayan Anihan, we're also on Facebook. And kanina sinabi natin, Chrissy, if you want to visit the Philippines, go visit GK Enchanted Farm. So you can immerse, we have immersion programs there as well. Like you volunteer and then you go around the different communities, you learn about social entrepreneurship. So all of these things, I can go on and on. Baka maubos na yung oras natin. But konti lang yung sa mga nabanggit ko. Siguro, meron doon na you're passionate about and you work on that passion para may matulungan po tayo.
Yeah, thank you, Bia. Before I get to you, Tita Carol, I also wanted to take this opportunity to invite people to be a part of GKUSA and help out as a volunteer, because we actually really truly need warm bodies to work, but we cannot pay a lot of people. as part of the board of directors of Gawad Kalinga, on behalf of GKUSA, I'd like to invite everyone to volunteer your time, whatever you're good at, right? Whatever we can, if you're very organized, we can certainly, use your help with, with maybe the reporting, or, just connect to your, well, actually, contact GKUSA. I think is it contact at gk-usa.org. Chrissy, is that right? Contact at gkusa.org.
Yes.
Pakilagay lang sa chat.
Yeah.
And then we will connect you to the area director closest to you. Okay, so example lang alam ko lang kasi sa marketing and communication. Sorry naman po, biased po ako. because we really truly need help with, writing articles. For right now, we're happy to have Caleb. Eric San has also been helping us with articles before in mga hope stories. But we need as many writers as possible, because Caleb would know to turn out one article, it takes days, di ba? Lalo na kung nag-i-interview, right? So at least now with the Quantum GK, meron na pong mga stories sa Quantum GK. So all you need to do is watch the video and then write a story about it that we can post on, sa Hope Stories. Especially those people, like mga college students. Hello, Allison. Please spread this, the word, right? If you are trying to get, build your portfolio, right? Written portfolio, a written portfolio. This could, this might be a good opportunity for you. And summer is coming up pretty soon, right? So those of you who are looking for, kahit yung mga high school students, right? Yung mga who are looking for, you know what? When you apply for grants and scholarships, they look at your experience in community service, your volunteer hours. So people who are, I know, like grants and simply free money yan, right? That's free money. So there's a lot of people competing for grants and scholarships. And a lot of them are also smart, just like you. But where you might be, you might stand out from the rest is your community work, is how you are giving them. So please contact us. This is a really good opportunity for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know, because like I said, I was not this old before. 20 years ago was when I started, and to this day, 20 years past, it's still the best time of my life. So the younger you start, the better and the more, the more happy experiences you would have with Quantum GK, I mean Quantum GK, with GK USA. All right. So contact at gk-usa.org. And with that, I will have Tita Carol close us for this evening before we say goodbye or so long, and we see you before we see on a GK Tambayan. Tita Carol, take it away.
Yeah, Donna, I just want to thank you for everything that you have done, especially you're hosting the three years of Kwentong GK. And I'm sure a lot of people learn a lot about GK through your stories and the stories of your guest. So I just want to thank you for all that, and I hope that you will not leave us behind in Tambayan.
Walang
that you
iwanan, Tita Carol.
that you will tambay with us. And I just want to invite everyone to treat Tambayan as our GK home. That maybe every other week, if we just um, see each other on Zoom, and as and our dream to grow it as big as we can. And you don't have to stay for an hour, even if you just say hi, or you want to share some experiences that might inspire other people, and all that. I know sometimes an hour on a Sunday is too long, that we have to be with our families, but I just want to make it like being in Tambayan is being in a GK home, where everybody have the same heart and the same dream for our families, our poor families in the Philippines, and just to keep inspiring each other. And I hope that this can grow into something, and it will help in 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 ending in our goal of ending poverty in the Philippines.
All
So
right.
maraming
Thank you.
salamat sa lahat, especially yung mga anak ko sa Tambayan. My children are I'm acquiring more and more children in GK. So thank you so much for all the hard work that you do. Mia, Chrissy, Caleb, and all the other ones that help us behind the scene, everyone in the Philippines that are always ready to be our guest, to share their dreams and aspirations in GK. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tita Carol and everyone, Mia, Chrissy, and Caleb. Again, I just wanted to take this moment to thank everyone for joining us on Quantum GK for the past 64 episodes, including this episode.
64.
Yes, it has been my absolute immense pleasure to be with you and, to hear your stories firsthand and ask questions and, cry with you, laugh with you. So thank you for the privilege of your time. And please continue to support GK USA. And like Tita Carol said, make GK Tambayan your home, to inspire each other and maybe inspire other people as well, right? So with that, good night, everyone, and see you at
Good
the
night.
next GK Tambayan.
Bye
Good
po.
night, everyone.
Bye!
Bye-bye.